It's not really a movie about athletes. You know, it's about
No.
the barnacles that attach themselves to
Yeah.
athletes, the world behind the world.
It's not a movie about athletes, and yet Rod Tidwell, I've made this case, I think is the best athlete character in the history of sports movies.
Have you made that case?
He's number one for me. He's my favorite. Because
Interesting.
when he comes in, there just never been a character quite like this, and he's fully developed. He's pieces of different people who were in sports in the mid 90s, but not a shticky character version of them, but like this fully developed person with a family. I just like them.
It's actually go ahead.
No, you got it.
It's actually a risky character if you do it wrong, right?
Totally.
So if you do the character wrong, it looks like a caricature of the contemporary black male athlete. If you get any of the notes wrong there, it looks like you're trying to say something about how shallow they are, about how materialistic they are. But Rod has enough levels to where that just doesn't hold water. He is a devoted family man.
Yep.
Even when he's talking about why he wants to get paid, he's not talking about, man, I need a car, I need this.
No, he's like, I got 5 years left.
I got 5 years left. There's ants in my crib. I don't have security.
I've had 32 concussions.
Yeah, the whole nine. So if you do the role wrong, you could get think pieced in Essence and Ebony magazine for like months after that. I'm just being for real.
No, I'm just trying to imagine like the viral Essence or Ebony monthly column that would take down Tidwell.
Rod Tidwell, the blackening of, you know what I mean? So, but the character really, when you get to it at the end, it's just like a really vulnerable family guy. You love him.
Yeah, and there's been some other great ones. Like I always thought Apollo Creed was an unbelievable character. And
The more the movies went on.
Yeah, well, even in the first one where he's doing a Muhammad Ali, but he had the charisma, and you really bought that this guy was the heavyweight champion of the world. But this is the most developed of anyone we had up to this point.
It's what Crowe does best. And to some extent, you can see how much he learned from James L. Brooks, who obviously played a part in this movie.
All over this movie.
Yeah. But it's finding the universal and the specific. This movie is so specific. It's about a slot receiver for the Arizona Cardinals,
right?
And his agent who's having a nervous breakdown, and a single mother who's his like assistant / life partner. And all of the stuff that's happening with the divorced women's group and his mission statement and his relationship to his father and Ray and all this stuff is so specific. But like the more and more specific it gets, the more you're like, I see myself in this. And that's like Crowe's gift. It's like Lloyd Dobler is such a specific creation, but somehow became an iconic teenager. Do you know what I mean? Even though not everybody was Lloyd Dobler growing up, you kind of recognize something true in it. And that's what he does in this movie. That's so amazing.
It's also the movie that Cruise saw that made him say, I want to work with that guy, which leads to this 2-movie collaboration.
Right. Yeah. There's the little pieces like his family watching the games, and he points to the TV at one point and they do that stuff. It's just like there's a lot of little stuff in here that is what happens.
The Marcy character is a
he
great
wrote the
example.
script he did 20 versions of the script, right?
Yeah.
And I think each version he does, he's deepening it, making that a real guy.
You know what else, man? This is gonna sound so minuscule, but Rod gets hurt. We're all holding our breath. Even in the movie theater, we're holding our breath. Somehow we know he's gonna get up, but still, you never know, right? And his brother goes, see, I told you he was too small for the NFL. That's so real.
Yeah.
The hate inside of your group.
Right.
Like, even if you get to somebody, your homeboys in the NBA, it's like, man, before he hit his growth spurt, I used to cook this motherfucker. Like the whole nine, when he said, for some reason, that right there, now that I've got some age on me, that's so accurate that he would have said something like that, and then the wife would have jumped on him.
TP was so before his time.
He was
like
man.
Nick Wright. He just he was like a takesman in the making. TP
Nick Wright
could have just been like, Jokic is over.
Well, they said the story of the Cuba getting the part was he was like one of the first people they auditioned, and he crushed it and came in and just was basically became the guy, and even like took his clothes off to do the scene with Cruz. But then they auditioned a bunch of people after him, and he was so good in the audition. Like they had Jamie Foxx, and they're like, Jamie Foxx would have been a good Rod Tidwell, but none of them could shake the Cuba.
Man, they made this brother take his clothes off in the audition.
No, he took them off. He asked. That was in the
I don't wanna hear
research.
that,
It's
man.
commitment to a role.
Nah, dog.
No, he's
hell
like, "Can I
nah.
take my pants off?" And they're
Nah,
like,
man,
"Okay."
we
keep
didn't
up."
You think it
move
was
past-
James L. Brooks
nah,
who
we
asked
didn't
him
move-
specifically?
we
"Please
passed
remove"?
that.
Fans been triggered.
Yeah, that's it, man. I gotta come back into it. You just got me on higher learning van. I gotta get back to Rewatchables, man.
So this comes out 96. He got games 97.
Mm.
Any given Sundays 99. Like we're moving into the 2.0 version of sports movies
Yeah.
officially. I think Bull Durham starts it.
Mhm.
Probably 8 Men Out, Bull Durham in the late 80s. But this is like the
When's
full
Major League?
realization.
89?
But Major League's kind of the old
90?
school.
Yeah,
Rocky
that's what I was
recipe.
wondering. 'Cause
Yeah,
that's like
89.
a vestige of Hoosiers
Yeah.
and kind of
But we're off. But really with this movie.